Are you ready for a journey through time? A story of conquest, knowledge, betrayal, and loss? This is the story of Andalus, a land of wonders where great cities rose, where poets and scholars changed the world, where kings and warriors fought for power. In this audiobook, you will hear epic battles, whispers of lost civilizations, and the voices of rulers who shaped history. You will step inside the grand palaces of Cordoba and Granada, walk through busy markets filled with silk and spices, and listen to the clash of swords as empires rise and fall. But this is not just a story. It is a way to improve your English. As you listen and read, you will learn new words, hear the rhythm of the language, and practice your understanding. The sentences are simple and clear, making it easy to follow, while the dramatic storytelling keeps you engaged from the first word to the last. The past is waiting to be discovered. The secrets of Andalus are about to be revealed. Are you ready? Then let the story begin. Chapter 1. The Dawn of Andalus. The year is 711. The wind howls over the sea, carrying whispers of change. A fleet of ships approaches the Iberian Peninsula. The soldiers aboard stand still, gripping their weapons. Their leader, Tariq ibn Ziyad, watches the dark waves crash against the shore. He knows there is no turning back. The army disembarks near a great rock. This place will later bear his name, Gibraltar. Tariq steps onto the land, his eyes fixed on the hills ahead. The soldiers gather around him, waiting for his command. But he does something unexpected. He gives an order that shocks them all. Burn the ships. A murmur spreads through the ranks. Burn the ships? Without them, there is no escape, no way home. Fear flickers in their eyes. But Tariq speaks again, his voice strong. The sea is behind us. The enemy is in front of us. We have no choice but to fight and to win. The flames rise. Smoke curls into the sky. The men watch as their only retreat disappears in the fire. There is no turning back. They must press forward or perish. Across the land, the Visigothic King Roderick is unaware of the danger that approaches. His kingdom is divided. His enemies grow stronger. And now an army marches toward him. The Muslims move quickly, taking one town after another. The people of Iberia watch in fear, but also in wonder. Some welcome the new arrivals. Others resist. Then comes the battle that will change everything. The two armies meet near the Guadalete River. The air is thick with dust. The clash of swords fills the air. Cries of men echo across the battlefield. Tariq's forces, though fewer in number, fight with determination. Roderick, the once mighty king, struggles to hold his ground. Then he is gone. His body is never found. Some say he drowned in the river. Others whisper that he fled, never to return. With Roderick's fall, the gates of Iberia swing open. The Muslims advance. City after city falls. Seville, Cordoba, Toledo. One by one, they come under new rule. The conquest is swift. Some lords surrender without a fight. Others resist, but cannot hold their fortresses for long. The army of Al-Andalus is unstoppable. News of the conquest spreads. Across the Mediterranean, people speak of this new land, Al-Andalus, a land of wealth, beauty, and power. But what will it become? A land of war or a land of peace? For now, the battle is won. The soldiers celebrate, but Tariq does not rest. He stands atop a hill, looking at the vast land before him. He knows this is just the beginning. The real challenge lies ahead. What comes next will shape history forever. Chapter 2. A Land of Many Faces. The sun rises over Cordoba. The city wakes slowly. Merchants set up their stalls, laying out silk, spices, and books from faraway lands. The streets hum with voices, some speaking Arabic, others Latin, and some in Hebrew. In the great marketplace, a Muslim trader counts silver coins, a Jewish scholar examines a scroll, and a Christian artisan carves delicate patterns into wood. This is Al-Andalus, a land of many faces, a place where different cultures meet, mix, and shape each other. The call to prayer echoes from the mosque. Nearby, church bells ring. In another part of the city, a synagogue stands tall, its walls filled with the murmurs of sacred texts. Here, people of different faiths walk the same streets, buy from the same shops, and share the same fountains. They do not always agree, but for now, they live side by side. In the madrasas, young students sit in circles, listening to their teachers. They study the stars, medicine, poetry, and philosophy. Some of the greatest minds in Europe will come from this place. Averroes, a Muslim thinker, questions the nature of truth. Maimonides, a Jewish doctor, writes about medicine and faith. Christian monks copy ancient manuscripts, preserving knowledge from Greece and Rome. Learning is a treasure, and Al-Andalus is its keeper. But beneath the beauty, there is tension. Power is never easy to hold. Rulers change. Alliances shift. Some leaders welcome diversity, while others fear it. There are times of peace, but also moments of betrayal. A new caliph rises. He promises unity, but demands loyalty. Some accept his rule. Others do not. There are whispers in dark corners, secret meetings behind closed doors. A rebellion begins. Soldiers march through the streets, their footsteps heavy on the stone. Smoke rises from the city as rival factions fight for control. The people of Al-Andalus watch in silence. Some flee, others hide. The land they built together now trembles under the weight of war. Days pass, then weeks, and finally, the city grows quiet again. The Caliph remains in power. But something has changed. The wounds of conflict run deep. Yet life continues. The poets still sing. The scientists still dream. The architects still build palaces that shine under the Andalusian sun. And in the streets where cultures meet and history is made, the voices of Al-Andalus never truly fade. Chapter 3. The Golden Age of Cordoba. The city glows under the moonlight. Lanterns flicker along the narrow streets, casting golden light on the white walls. The air is filled with the scent of jasmine and the soft murmur of voices. The sounds of a distant lute float through an open window. This is Cordoba, the jewel of Al-Andalus, a city unlike any other in Europe. By day, the streets are alive with movement. Merchants call out their prices, selling silk from the East, spices from Africa, and perfumes from distant lands. The markets are filled with voices in Arabic, Latin, Hebrew, and many other tongues. Travelers arrive from faraway places, drawn by stories of this magnificent city. They come to see its palaces, its gardens, and most of all, its knowledge. At the heart of Cordoba stands a wonder, the Great Library. It holds 400,000 books, more than any other place in Europe. Inside, scholars sit with open manuscripts, copying ancient texts and debating new ideas. Paper rustles. Ink flows onto parchment. Ideas take shape in careful letters. This is a place of learning, a treasure for the mind. Rulers from the north send envoys to learn from the Andalusi scholars. Doctors study human anatomy, using knowledge from Greek, Roman, and Arab medicine. Mathematicians explore numbers, solving problems never solved before. Astronomers chart the stars, drawing maps of the heavens with incredible precision. Science and philosophy flourish here, in a city where knowledge is more valuable than gold. At the center of this golden age stands Caliph Abd al-Rahman III. He is more than a king. He is a builder, a leader, a man who dreams of greatness. Under his rule, Cordoba grows into the most advanced city in Europe. Roads are paved, hospitals are built, and fountains bring fresh water to homes. The city shines with lights, knowledge, and life. Visitors from the Christian north arrive, astonished by what they see. They call Cordoba a miracle. But power is fragile, even in a city of wonders. Enemies watch from the shadows. They whisper of war, of division, of an empire that cannot last forever. The Caliph grows older. He knows that the golden age will not shine forever. He has built a city of light, but shadows always follow the brightest stars. Still, Cordoba stands, its walls strong, its people full of life. The streets of learning, of trade, of culture remain, and for now, under the Andalusian sky, the jewel of Al-Andalus continues to glow, a beacon in the dark. Chapter 4. Science, Medicine, and the Stars. A doctor mixes herbs, grinding them into fine powder. A mathematician draws strange symbols on a parchment, deep in thought. An astronomer lifts his eyes to the night sky, watching the slow dance of the stars. This is Andalus, a land where knowledge is as precious as gold, where science flourishes like a garden in bloom. The great cities of Córdoba, Seville, and Granada shine with learning. Libraries overflow with books. Hospitals treat patients with new medicines. Schools teach philosophy, astronomy, and mathematics. This is a world where questions are welcomed, where minds are free to explore the unknown. In the bustling streets of Córdoba, students gather around their teacher. They listen as he speaks of the planets, their movements, their mysteries. He explains how the earth turns, how the moon affects the tides, how the stars guide travelers across the vast deserts. This is no ordinary teacher. His name is Averroes, and he is one of the greatest minds of his time. Averroes is a philosopher, a doctor, a thinker who dares to ask difficult questions. He reads the works of Aristotle, the ancient Greek thinker, and writes about reason and logic. His ideas challenge traditions. Some call him a genius. Others fear his words. But his books will travel far beyond Al-Andalus, influencing scholars in Christian Europe and beyond. Not far from the city, in a hospital filled with the scent of herbs and oils, another man works tirelessly. His name is Al-Zahrawi, and he is a pioneer in medicine. With steady hands, he stitches a wound using fine thread made from animal gut. He carefully records his techniques, drawing detailed illustrations of surgical tools. His writings will change the future of surgery. Doctors in Europe will study his books for centuries. In the courtyards of royal palaces, mathematicians solve complex problems. They write numbers in a way never seen before, using symbols brought from India, what we now call Arabic numerals. They introduce the concept of zero, a number that changes everything. With it, calculations become easier, trade flourishes, and architecture advances. In observatories high above the city, astronomers watch the sky. They record the positions of the planets. They improve the astrolabe, a tool that helps sailors find their way across the open sea. Their discoveries will help travelers, merchants, and explorers for generations. This is a golden age of learning. But knowledge does not always bring peace. Some rulers welcome these ideas. Others see them as dangerous. Books are sometimes burned. Scholars are forced to flee. But ideas, like the stars, cannot be erased. They continue to shine, passed from one generation to the next. In time, the great cities of Al-Andalus will fade. The palaces will crumble. The libraries will fall silent, but the knowledge born here will live on. The works of Averroes will inspire the thinkers of the Renaissance. The surgical tools of Al-Zahrawi will be used in hospitals around the world. The numbers, the charts, the maps, these will shape the future. The doctor, the mathematician, the astronomer, their work is never forgotten. Their ideas survive. Their discoveries remain. The stars they studied still shine in the night sky, whispering the secrets of Andalus to those who look up and wonder. Chapter 5. The Poetry of Andalus. A man stands before a crowded hall. The air is still, the audience silent, waiting. He takes a breath and begins to speak. His words float like music in the air, weaving a picture of love, war, and longing. This is no ordinary speech. It is poetry. In Andalus, poetry is more than art. It is power. A single verse can win the favor of a king. A well-crafted line can destroy an enemy's pride. Rulers, scholars, and warriors compete with words as fiercely as they do with swords. A poet's voice can change everything. At the court of Cordoba, noblemen gather to hear the latest verses. The caliph listens, his eyes shining with interest. Poets stand before him, reciting lines filled with beauty and wisdom. Some speak of gardens filled with roses, fountains whispering under the moonlight. Others tell of lost love, of longing hearts separated by fate. Every word is carefully chosen. Every pause, every rhythm matters. The best poets are honored, their words written down, remembered for years to come. But poetry is not just for the powerful. In the streets, musicians sing verses to the sound of the oud, a stringed instrument like a lute. Their songs drift through the air, mixing with the scent of spices and the laughter of the marketplace. Farmers, merchants, and travelers stop to listen. The melody carries stories of distant lands, of great battles, of lovers meeting in secret. In hidden corners, poetry becomes a language of the heart. A young man, too shy to speak, sends a message written in rhyme. A woman, unable to express her feelings aloud, replies with a poem of her own. Their words pass between them like whispered secrets, shaping their love in verses no one else can hear. The Andalusi poets write of nature, of the way the wind moves through the trees, of the soft light at dawn. They speak of wisdom, of lessons learned in silence, of truths found in the stars. They praise the beauty of their cities, the splendor of Cordoba, the elegance of Seville, the magic of Granada. Their words capture a world rich with life, filled with wonder. But not all poetry is soft and sweet. In times of war, words become weapons. A well-placed verse can insult a rival, humiliate an enemy, turn the tide of a conflict. Poets walk a dangerous path, for their tongues are as sharp as blades. A single insult, spoken in public, can bring disaster. A clever rhyme, filled with hidden meaning, can stir rebellion. Through every rise and fall of Andalus, poetry remains. When the cities flourish, poets celebrate their glory. When battles rage, they mourn the loss. And when rulers change, their words preserve the past, keeping history alive in ink and sound. Even as the golden age fades, the voices of the poets do not disappear. Their verses travel beyond the borders of Andalus, carried across lands and centuries. Their songs are remembered, their lines repeated in distant places. The echoes of their words still live today, in music, in stories, in the rhythm of language itself. The man in the hall finishes his poem. A hush lingers in the air. Then, applause. The audience rises, moved by the beauty of his words. He bows, his heart full. In this moment, he knows his poetry will not be forgotten. Before we begin Chapter 6, a quick note for our listeners. You're currently listening to this audiobook on Woo English. Remember, this content is specially made for Woo English listeners only. If you're hearing it on any other channel, it may be a violation of Woo English's rights. Please ensure you're tuned into the right source to fully enjoy and respect this audiobook journey. Now let's continue the story. Chapter 6. The Rise of New Kingdoms. The great caliphate of Cordoba is no more. Its golden age has ended, its power shattered. The mighty empire that once ruled Andalus has broken into many small kingdoms. These are the Taifa states, city-states ruled by princes, generals, and ambitious men who now dream of power. Each kingdom has its own ruler, its own army, its own ambitions. Seville, Granada, Zaragoza, Toledo, Valencia, they all compete, each believing itself to be the true heir of Andalus. They build new palaces, sponsor poets, and expand their cities. But beneath the surface, there is weakness. Rivalries grow. Rulers betray one another. Some seek alliances, others prepare for war. In the north, the Christian kingdoms are watching. Leon, Castile, Aragon, Navarre, they have waited for this moment. For centuries, they have fought against the Muslim rulers of Andalus. Now, they see their chance. Divided, the Taifas are vulnerable. The kings of the north begin to move south, their armies gathering strength. The Taifa rulers know they cannot fight alone. Some try to make peace. Others pay tributes, large sums of gold, to keep the Christian kings away. They send caravans loaded with silver, hoping to buy time. But gold cannot stop an army forever. In Seville, the ruler looks to the south, across the sea. He sends a message to North Africa, calling for help. He asks the Almoravids, a powerful Berber empire, to come to Andalus. They are warriors, strict, disciplined, and deeply religious. They answer his call. The Almoravids crossed the sea in 1086. They march north, meeting the Christian forces at the Battle of Sagrajas. The fight is fierce. The clash of swords fills the air. Cries of warriors echo across the battlefield. Blood stains the earth. The Almoravids win, pushing back the Christian advance. But victory comes at a cost. The Berber rulers do not leave. Instead, they take control. The Taifa kings, once powerful, are now puppets or prisoners. One by one, their kingdoms fall under Almoravid rule. The culture of Al-Andalus changes. Poets and scholars are no longer welcome in the courts. Music fades. The freedom once enjoyed under the Taifas begins to disappear. Yet, history does not stop. The Almoravids rule for a time, but they too will fall. A new power, the Almohads, will rise after them, bringing another wave of change. The cycle continues. Kingdoms rise, rulers fall, the struggle never ends. Al-Andalus is no longer the great empire it once was. The unity of Cordoba is gone. The golden age has faded. But the land still breathes. The cities still stand. And though the rulers fight, the spirit of Al-Andalus is not yet lost. Chapter 7. The Great Struggle. The Reconquista begins. The sound of swords fills the air. Horses charge across dry fields, their hooves pounding against the earth. Castles burn in the distance, smoke curling into the sky. A long war has begun, a war that will last for centuries. The Reconquista, the Christian effort to reclaim the lands of Iberia, pushes forward, little by little, battle by battle. In the north, Christian kings unite. Their banners rise over stone fortresses. Their armies, once small and divided, grow stronger. They have waited for this moment. For centuries they fought against the rulers of Al-Andalus. Now, the Muslim kingdoms are weak, divided, struggling to survive. The time has come to take back what they lost. The first victories are small. Villages fall, fortresses change hands. The Christian forces move cautiously at first, testing their strength, but soon they grow bold. In 1085, the great city of Toledo surrenders to King Alfonso VI of Castile. It is a great loss for Al-Andalus. The Christian banners now wave above its walls. The people watch in silence. Some flee. Others stay, unsure of what the future will bring. In the south, the rulers of Al-Andalus are desperate. They send messages across the sea, calling for help from North Africa. The Almoravids arrive first, fierce warriors who bring discipline and order. They push back the Christian advance for a time. But even they cannot hold back the tide forever. Another army comes after them, the Almohads, strong, determined, ready to defend what remains. The battles rage on. Cities are won and lost. Some fall quickly, others resist for years. Siege engines smash against thick walls. The cries of warriors echo through the valleys. The rivers run red with blood. Yet, the war is not only fought with swords. It is also a struggle of survival, of endurance, of who will last the longest. For the people of Andalus, life is uncertain. One day, they wake under a Muslim ruler. The next, they find themselves under a Christian king. Some flee to safer lands. Others stay, forced to adapt to new laws, new rulers, new ways of life. The Jews, caught between both sides, try to survive in a world that is changing too fast. The years pass. The war does not end. Kingdoms rise, fall, and rise again. Alliances shift. Betrayals are common. There is no peace, only an endless fight for power. By the 13th century, the Christian kingdoms have taken most of the north and the center of Iberia. Cordoba falls. Seville follows. Only one great city remains, Granada, the last stronghold of Al-Andalus. The war is not over, but the end is near. For now, the struggle continues. The swords do not rest. The fate of Al-Andalus hangs by a thread. Chapter 8. The Fall of Granada. The year is 1492. The air is cold, heavy with silence. The city of Granada, the last stronghold of Al-Andalus, stands alone. Its walls, once proud and strong, now show the marks of war. The banners of Castile and Aragon rise above the hills, their colors bright against the winter sky. The armies of Isabella and Ferdinand surround the city, waiting for the final moment. Inside the Alhambra, the palace of the Nasrid kings, Sultan Boabdil walks through the halls. His steps echo against the stone. He has fought for years, resisting the Christian advance, holding on to what little remains. But now, the choice is clear. The enemy is at the gates. Food is running out. His people are tired, afraid. To fight means destruction. To surrender means the end of an era. He looks out over his city. The rooftops shimmer under the pale sun. The river winds through the valley, carrying whispers of history. The streets that were once filled with laughter, music, and poetry now lie quiet. The voices of the past seem to call to him, reminding him of the golden days of Al-Andalus. But those days are gone. Outside the walls, the Christian forces wait. Their weapons are ready. Their king and queen, Ferdinand and Isabella, watch from a distance. They know victory is near. For years, they have fought to reclaim these lands. Now, nothing can stop them. A messenger arrives at the palace. He bows before the Sultan, waiting for his command. Boabdil closes his eyes for a moment, then nods. The time has come. He must face his fate. With a heavy heart, he mounts his horse and rides toward the enemy camp. His soldiers watch in silence. Some weep, others lower their heads. This is not just the loss of a city. It is the loss of a civilization, a home, a way of life. At the gates, he meets Ferdinand and Isabella. They sit on their thrones, wrapped in heavy cloaks, their eyes cold and steady. Boabdil dismounts. He reaches for the keys of Granada, the symbol of his rule, and holds them out. "These keys were once mine," he says, his voice low, filled with sorrow. "Now they are yours." The Queen takes them. The war is over. Granada belongs to the Catholic monarchs. The banners of Castile and Aragon rise above the Alhambra. Boabdil turns away. He does not look back. He rides south toward exile. As he reaches the mountains, he stops. Below him, Granada stretches across the valley, bathed in golden light. His mother stands beside him. Her voice is sharp, unforgiving. "Weep like a woman for what you could not defend like a man." Tears fill his eyes. But it is too late. The city, his city, is lost. In Granada, life begins to change. The new rulers promise peace, protection, respect. But soon, things are different. The mosques are turned into churches. Arabic is forbidden. Books are burned. The people who once lived freely now face new laws, new rulers, a new world. The echoes of Andalus fade, but they are not forgotten. The walls of the Alhambra still stand, whispering the stories of poets, warriors, scholars, and kings. The rivers still flow through the land where cultures once met, where knowledge once flourished. The last sigh of the last sultan lingers in the wind, carried through the hills of a land that will always remember. Chapter 9. Echoes of the Past. Al-Andalus is gone, but its spirit remains. The streets of Granada no longer echo with the voices of its poets. The great libraries of Córdoba no longer hold the wisdom of 1,000 scholars. The golden age has faded, yet something lingers in the air, in the walls, in the language itself. The Alhambra still stands, its arches filled with whispers of the past. The patterns on its walls tell a story of beauty, of power, of loss. Visitors run their fingers across the carved Arabic inscriptions, words left behind by a world that no longer exists. There is no victor but God, the walls say. A message from another time, a memory written in stone. Across Spain, traces of Al-Andalus remain. The Grand Mosque of Córdoba, now a cathedral, still holds its red and white arches. Its columns rise like endless trees, a forest of history. In Seville, the Giralda Tower watches over the city. Once a minaret calling the faithful to prayer, now a bell tower marking the hours of a different faith. The language carries the past, too. Spanish words, born from Arabic sounds, are spoken every day. Almohada, pillow, aceituna, olive, ojalá, a hope, a wish, meaning if God wills. More than 4,000 words remain, hidden reminders of a time when cultures met, blended, and shaped each other. The music of Andalusia still holds echoes of its past, the deep, sorrowful tones of flamenco, a voice crying out, a guitar answering, hands clapping in rhythm. It carries the soul of a lost land, the feeling of longing, the memory of those who once lived here. But Al-Andalus was more than words, more than music, more than stone. It was an idea, a place where knowledge flourished, where people of different faiths lived side by side, where science, poetry, and philosophy were valued above all else. Its fall was not just the loss of a kingdom. It was the end of an age of learning, of cultural exchange, of dreams that reached beyond borders. But ideas do not disappear. They travel. They survive. The books saved from the burning libraries found new homes in Europe. The discoveries of Andalusian scholars shaped the Renaissance, influencing the minds of those who would change the world. Even after centuries, Al-Andalus is not forgotten. Tourists walk through its ancient palaces, stand beneath its arches, and wonder what life was like in those golden days. Historians study its past, trying to understand how such a world could rise and fall. Writers and poets still tell its story, their words keeping its spirit alive. Its lessons remain. That knowledge is power. That unity is fragile. That civilizations rise and they fall, but their legacy can last forever. The last sultan left Granada with tears in his eyes. His people walked away, carrying only what they could. The empire was lost. But the memory of Al-Andalus, like the wind through the olive trees, still whispers through time.